was able to finish that match because that came early on. I mean, that came before a lot of those near falls. You know what I mean? So that could have been disastrous for the match if if Taker was injured on that spot, and they would have had to go on to the early finish, and they didn't have to do that. So that was a great match. They showed Evander Holyfield, who was at ringside. We had a lot of celebrities at WrestleMania. We had Mickey Rourke. He was alongside Frank Shamrock and another MMA fighter. Not a well-known name. I can't think of his name. Last name starts with a C. Curran. I want to say Curran or it's not coming to me right now. But not a known fighter. Frank Shamrock scheduled to face Nate Diaz coming up here on Strikeforce, which is actually going to be on CBS. That's going to be the new Elite XC, if you will, the company that had Kimbo and Gina Carano and all those guys. So they're going to fight it out on Strikeforce. We had Nydia was in town as well. Michael Clark Duncan was seen at the WrestleMania after party. They held they always do a party. Fan? Yeah, he's a huge wrestling fan. Always has been too. Even when Raw comes to that's probably Texas. I'm sure he's from that area. But whenever Raw is in an area that he's in, he is usually one that's in the front row and is usually shown on camera. But he wasn't shown on camera at WrestleMania, but he did attend the party that everybody went to after WrestleMania last night. So he was there. Who were the other names? Diana Hart was down there. All the legends, most of the legends were down there. Bobby Heenan actually, yep. He actually made it. He's not in the best shape these days, but he was feeling well enough to be at the Hall of Fame and likely WrestleMania as well. So that was good to see him. We had interviewed him a couple times back here. I told you that. Remember, we would always say something. We would ask Bobby Heenan a question, right? And he would say, "You know what I think about that?" And then he'd go and flush the toilet, and you'd always hear the toilet flush in the background. He was an awesome guy, just an awesome guy. So I wish we could find some of those old interviews. Maybe one of these days I'll dig them up. They've got to be somewhere. We've got to have them somewhere. We had Piper numerous times. Randy Savage we've interviewed. Sable. Tons of people. Tons of people back in the day. We've been doing this, for, I don't know, 8-9 years now, I think, the radio show. It's pretty crazy, man. We've been around for a minute. Time flies, man. Time flies. Speaking of time flying,
all the discussions from the past. Just like, wow, crazy. It's amazing.
I know. It's absolutely crazy, man. And every year, man, I always think, WrestleMania is coming up. I always forget how busy it is, man. I mean, you guys seen the news boards today. I mean, there is just so much news everywhere on the boards today. So lots and lots of work. I was up last night, 4 a.m., just shy of 4 a.m., 3:45. Hit the sack last night. Set the alarm clock this morning for 8:45 and slept till about 9:15. And we're going to do it again tonight. We've got Raw and then the post-Raw coverage, and it happens every year. But I always forget just how busy, that it gets around here. It's brutal, man. And this year has been actually not as bad because lack of media, lack of Donald Trump, lack of Floyd Mayweather. Lack of Mickey Rourke just not doing as much media as WWE would have liked. But they got their after media, but that doesn't do anything for your buy rate, you know what I mean?
No, it definitely is not going to help. I mean, I'm sure that you'll get a number of bumps ordering the replays, but your number is going to obviously be from the actual pay-per-view.
Edge versus John Cena versus The Big Show for the World Heavyweight title. What'd you think? People, we had said that Cena was going to come in and tell you, or I did. I know I did last week, where I expected Cena to come out on top. We've got Edge, got some nagging injuries. I expect him to probably be on Raw tonight. I mean, most of the guys are still in Houston, so they're going to use him while they're there. But Edge is scheduled to take some time off here, got some nagging injuries and things of that nature going on. So I don't believe he's booked for the upcoming tour of Europe. I know he's listed for some of the house show cards, but I think we'll see a change on that in the next few weeks here. It all depends. It really all depends on how long he's going to be out or when they let him go. You know what I mean? Whether it's right now after WrestleMania or if they keep him around for another month or two before giving him that time off that he needs. So we'll have to wait and see.
Here's the funny thing. I actually, while you were discussing that, I actually went to WZROnline.com website, and they updated a Monday Night Raw match, which puts John Cena, CM Punk, Jeff Hardy, Ricky Steamboat, and Rey Mysterio to take on Kane, Big Show, Chris Jericho, Matt Hardy, and Edge.
See, I would have liked one-on-one matches better. I would have liked Steamboat.
When I saw Steamboat's face up there, I said to myself, well, he's now in the ring, and I'm sure he's going to be in the ring for a while now, especially with his performance at WrestleMania. But it kind of sucks that they're taking all these big names, the
Well, they're beat up, too. I mean, they're beat up a little bit from last night, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you have to, they'll only have to be in there for a couple minutes at a time, and then they can tag right back out. So maybe that's why they're doing it. We've also got I think it's 10 SmackDown Divas versus 10 Raw Divas, and then the Lumberjack match that they hyped up for weeks and weeks and weeks on TV, really promoted this thing big. And like I said just a little while ago, the card was rewritten. The card was rewritten over the weekend a few different times, you know what I mean? And they made the decision maybe when they timed out the matches and figured how much time they had, maybe they just said, all right, this is the one that we're going to pull. I don't know, pull Kid Rock or somebody from that, pull or lessen the amount of time that Kid Rock had, or lessen the amount of time that, another match had, but you don't want to take away from the main events. I just think, that match was hyped up pretty good on ECW and SmackDown over the last few weeks, and to just put it on the dark as a dark match before the pay-per-view went live, it kind of took me off by guard. I think it took a lot of people off guard too. But the whole point of this is they're going to do that match again tonight on Monday Night Raw. We've got Carlito and Primo are the tag team champions after last night, so I'm sure they'll air clips or highlights or something of that nature, and then they're going to do the Lumberjack match again tonight on Raw for you guys. So that's another big Raw match, but I still would have liked to seen that on WrestleMania for sure, especially after all the hype.
I agree. But you brought a very good point. These guys are all bruised up, so it only makes sense to follow up with half these guys teaming up against each other. Rey Mysterio, putting him in the mix, he only worked for 26 seconds, so it wasn't, but I can see the Edge, the Matt Hardy, the Kane, but, CM Punk is another one, Jeff Hardy, obviously, and Cena. So it does certainly make sense what you mentioned, that these guys were probably just given a little break, being on the show and giving themselves a little break in the meantime.
Oh, yeah. A lot of those guys are beat up after last night, especially since everybody goes out there. It's WrestleMania, 72,000 people or whatever it was, just over 72,000, I believe. To go out there, all those guys are going to go balls to the wall, if you will, last night in front of that many people. And then, it's guys are going to be beat up the following day, you know what I mean? So to put them in a big tag match like that, it takes a lot more strain off those guys than you know what I mean, with the tags that'll be happening pretty often in that match tonight. But nonetheless, it's a big Raw main event. There's some big matches on Raw tonight, the ones that we just talked about. So looks like we're off to a pretty good start on Raw tonight. We'll have to wait and see how it comes out. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Triple H and Orton following last night, but I believe they're going to do a major angle tonight, like I said earlier, with the sledgehammer, the use of the sledgehammer by Triple H last night. Back to Edge, John Cena, and Big Show. What'd you think of the match overall, man?
The match overall was what I expected. A couple of bumps here and there. It was amazing how powerful John Cena is. Getting Big Show up on his shoulders and then Edge on top of it. That's weight. You're looking at almost like 700 maybe pounds or so, give or take. So that's he's powerful. It's powerful. But the ending was I know that you predicted John Cena. I know I said the Big Show is to kind of play the outside card.
Yeah.
But I'm not in complete shock whatsoever. I actually heard that Vince got a little heated for John Cena not having the title while 12 rounds was being promoted. Vince wanted John Cena the champion to kind of just showcase the fact that John Cena is a champion. But in this case, I don't think it mattered anyway.
You know what I heard about? While you're talking, you know what I heard about Trish Stratus, and I don't want to believe this because